Hey everybody, let's talk about some more stuff about USM. More specifically, how you manage individual users, how the permission systems works, and how you would add and remove employees and manage permissions. Um, I know we've been working out of the public demo installation, and that isn't really the best way to show this, because if we go here and you're trying to log in as the demo user, you actually can't change your password in the live demo. So that's going to be a very, very important thing to keep in mind. If you're logging into your own private installation for your business, and you are not the primary admin on the account, um, then you will be able to change your password here. So here's the dev install. It has some of the same stuff. It also has a lot of data that we don't already have. So I'm logged in as the primary admin of this one, so you don't actually even see an option to change field, change a password. So what's most likely going to happen is the primary admin user in this system and your live install is going to wind up being a support user that we have, and then your actual initial login as an admin you will be able to manipulate it here. So, but let's take a look at the admin area of the system. So again, this is the dev install. Um, so you'll see some things here that's not going to match up quite exactly with what you would actually see in yours. Like you actually get my tweets instead of this guy's tweets. But yeah. So let's take a look at, here's the admin side. And so if you're managing users, first and foremost, if you are the primary admin, um, then you can control whether or not you see the Twitter feed. So if we go back here, now all of a sudden the Twitter feed's gone. The only people that actually see this are going to be people who have admin privileges. So everything that I've showed you up to this point with the other videos, those are the things that your employee are going to see. Your employee does not see the admin area unless they are specifically given admin access. And so, yeah, we're going to show how that works. So in this one here, we have just one member, and you manage this with groups. So the user system, it's nested. So if you're going to have, if you're going to have technicians, for example, and these are, so you can control if you want to give them a description. If you have a bunch of people that you're adding at once, you can import via CSV file. But this particular setting has to do with if you want your technicians being able to mass import fields. So it probably doesn't make sense to allow them to do that. Allow visitors to sign up. You definitely don't want that, in this, but the system that this was built on does allow it, and there are situations where maybe not in Uranus, but in other systems that use the same framework, that's possible. So, so we've now created a group, group added successfully. So if I were to go back to groups, we would now see technicians. So this is now, it's all permissions based. So this might take a few minutes to get through, so I apologize in advance. So do you want to have them to be able to see companies? So we can mass select all of these. So we want to, so we know that they want to see companies, but we don't want them to delete anything. So no. This one here, under the delete column, any field that says owner. So if there's something where it's, you know, owner, that means that if that technician adds a company, if you are not working in a multi-person team, owner might still work, but if you add another technician, he's not going to be able to see the other technician's entries. So in the context of this one, you definitely don't want this to ever be owner. So setting up these permissions can absolutely be time consuming, and I don't want to, spend a whole lot of time on this video explaining this, but this is one of those things where you make the decision based on what do you want this particular person with this particular role to use. You can also set individual permissions for um, users, but it's best practice to focus on starting with groups. But if you get somebody that's a technician and you want the technician to have ordering privileges, you can go in and give them the proper access to the purchasing tables so they can at least see stuff. So if you were to set stuff up, they either see the field, they can't edit it, or they don't see the field at all. So if I were to say that technicians have no access to file attachments anywhere in the system, that would reference file attachments for that particular table, would flat out not ever be visible. I'm going through and allowing all. Okay, so this is a no. So maybe you're a repair shop and you don't do IT stuff, so you don't need to give anybody network, device management. So this technician is never going to see these in the system. You as an admin see everything, but your employees won't see this if this is not something you need them to see or want them to see. Facility, if you have a store with multiple locations, you definitely want to manage permissions appropriately. Technicians probably shouldn't be deleting facilities, but they can see all facilities. They can, maybe you don't want them to edit anything yeah. So all they can do is view, but they can't edit. There's also group permissions, so that might make sense. We're just gonna overall give everybody every access to everything. We're just gonna say no to that though. Purchase orders, PO items, vendor notes, and we're just going to keep going through all of these. By the way, tech commissions are really important. You should actually allow them to delete their own at their own risk. You don't want them to see anybody else's commissions on anything, or maybe you do. Maybe you want everybody in technicians to see what's, you know what I mean? So, yeah. I mean, the list goes on, and because I'm not going through this, actually, we already went through all this enough. Knowledge base, that's an important one. But yeah, so we'll just, save changes. So now anybody that you add to the technicians groups automatically has these particular permissions. So that's how that works. Again, in the case of just users with your technicians, for example, because they're not going to see the admin side unless you make them an admin. This is what your normal users are going to see. Minus, so again, the demo doesn't let you change the password, but you will see everything else. They can actually see what permissions they have. So if they see something that they don't have, that they don't need, or that they don't want, or they see something they do need, that's something that can be discussed. So that's users and permissions. and hope to see you on the next one.